once clarity is open, I'm just going to expand that, make that a bit bigger for you. Yep, once clarity's open, the first thing I'm going to do is create a patch. Now, I'm pretty big on saving, so I'm going to save an empty show now. Like clarity, and I'm going to call it theater start. So now it's blank. We actually have to physically patch the DMX stream or universe. So in the patch menu, we're going to just patch some dimmers. Now these are not intelligent, so they don't really have a personality. They just run off a dimmer channel. So in type generic in the patch library, find dimmer channel, choose 8-bit and double click it. Okay, so how many dimmer channels we got in the theater? We've got 3 dimmers and each one is 12 channel, and they run consecutive. That is 36 channels of dimming. So hit patch and they should show up here across the universe. First 36 are taken. All right, so now I'm going to go to the rig page and I'm going to create a group. A group is not a scene, it's not a queue, it's just a way to select something and select something fast. So I know that the first 3 dimmer channels have Fresnels plugged into them. So I'm going to select them and I'm going to choose 2 group. And those Fresnels are being used for my stage wash, and they're the left ones from front of house perspective. I'm going to create another group for the center. So select those 2 to group, stage wash, center. And then I'm going to grab the last 3, which is dimmer channel 6, 7, and 8, to group, stage wash, right, and hit record. On channels 9, 10, and 11, I have 500 watt Hueys, which are all floodlights. So I'm just going to group them all together and call it flood. And on channel 11 and 12, I have profiles, which will be used for the center special. They're spotlights. Okay, so we're done with groups for now. That's enough groups. Now we're going to actually create some scenes in the programmer. Now we don't have to select these fixtures as groups. We can just manually select one dimmer channel at a time, but we might not want to. So for now, I'm going to make things easy and I'm going to select them using the groups. What I want to do is create a fader that does my entire stage wash. So I'm going to grab my left, my center, and my right stage wash. I'm going to bring the intensity up to 100%. And just check your dimmer channels went white. If they've gone white, that means that the intensity's up. And we're going to hit record, and we're going to make a new cue list, call it stage wash or S wash, and everything else default, and go record. Now the program is still holding data, so remember to clear it before you build another queue or queue list. Next one, we'll make one just for the floodlights. So bring the flood group up, which is 9, 10, and 11. Alternatively, you can just go to your dimmer channels, select 9, 10, 11, and bring those up. Same result, different method. Okay, so I'm going to record that under a new queue list as flood. Then I'm going to go channels 11 and 12, which is the center special. I could also do that in my groups. So center special, bring that up, record that as center special. We're now building a center special queue list. And then don't forget, clear the programmer so nothing's happening again. All right. I'm going to show you one other thing, just so you don't get confused about the process of new queue list. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my stage wash center, and I'm going to bring that up, and I'm going to go record on the existing queue list of stage wash. And then in this queue list, I'm going to change the name of this one queue to be stage wash center, and hit record and clear. Now I'll show you what's happened with that in a second. So now we've got a few queues running. we need to actually assign them to a console so we can operate them. So to do that, click across to Control Booth, go to your Hardware tab. Now, if you've got a console plugged in, it will be listed here. If you don't, we can always grab a virtual one. So go Manage, add a virtual wing, make it a VX20 to match the one we have in the theater, go OK, and this console here should pop up. So now it's just a matter of copying our cues to a slot in the console. These top slots are executors and they respond to these two buttons up the top. These bottom slots respond to the two buttons down the bottom, which have faders. So in short, this console has two buttons, a play and a pause button that go with each fader. But these ones up here do exactly the same thing, but don't have a fader to control the intensity. For now, we're just going to use this bottom row. All right, so I'm going to grab my stage wash and put it on the first one, my flood on the second one, and my center special on the third one. Now to run these, you just need to make sure your Grandmaster's up and hit play on the cue. Then the fader will control the intensity. So we're just going to go back to the programmer, go to the dimmer channel where we can actually see what dimming's happening here. I'll show you what happens when we drop these faders. So if you look over here, it shows us what is turned up. Now you'll notice when I created the stage wash cue list, I put two cues in it, not one. So have a look what happens here. I'm going to bring up the stage wash cue list. Only two dimmer channels are up. I'm going to hit the play button. Now all of them are up, and I'll hit the play button again, and it's back to two again. So what I've done is I've built two cues into one cue list and then put them on a fader. Why waste a new fader to create that second cue when it's part of a cue already? So it is two lights out of a cue that has 8 lights. So we just added it on, and that's how you would do a chase or something that changes color. All right, we're going to do one more thing. I'm just going to turn those down so nothing's on. We're going to patch another fixture. This time we're going to go our Parcans, and they're a generic RGB. Now these are kind of strange in that they're RGB, they're operating in 3-channel mode, but they need 4 channels of space between them to function properly. So here it is here, LED RGB 8-bit. So we're going to patch 8 of them because we've got 8. Now we're not going to patch them at channel 37. We're going to bring them up to channel 100. We're going to also do this. We're going to use a custom interval. Instead of being 3 channels, we're going to make it 4, and we're going to patch them. So if you have a look here in the DMX universe, there's a gap between them now. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly go to my rig, and I might create a left LEDs and a right LEDs group. So this is my first 4. We could say they're on a bar to your left, maybe, and go to group. I'm going to go LEDs left, and then these ones again to group, LEDs right. You could also go odds, evens, however you think you're going to want to operate them during your show, and that'll come from experience. So over to the programmer now. There are my LEDs. So I'm going to show you, we're going to make them red. So we're going to grab them all, bring the intensity up, bring red up, and turn down green and blue. And we're going to see that our color corresponds to what we want. And we're going to record a new cue list, call them LEDs. Go record. Now we're going to go straight into green. Go record on the same cue list. Then blue. Then we'll go purple or magenta and sort of amber. And a sort of aqua. So we've got a whole bunch of colors in there now. I'm just going to clear the programmer back out again. Now at the moment, we'll see how that runs. There's our LEDs cue. We're going to drop that on a fader. And you'll see they have names. So do you remember what the colors were? So let's press play on that and run that. and check with the programmer. The first color is red. So I'm going to change the name of that to red. The second color is green, then blue, then purple. So that is red, green, blue, magenta. I think the next one was amber, and the last one was aqua. Now the reason why I'm doing this and changing the names of the queues in the queue list or queue stack is that they show up on the actual console. You can't see that properly, but you'll be able to see it on the console. So it shows you there that magenta is currently running. So let's have a look again. Back to programmer so we can see the colors change. There is one other thing I should have mentioned earlier. When you do actually run your show on an actual console to a real lighting rig, you need to make sure that however many universes you're broadcasting on are activated. So if you look at this, back in the patch menu, down the bottom left is a Universe A tab. If you click that drop down, there'll be 4 options for the 4 universes that correspond to the Clarity VX20. In this case, I don't have a console plugged in, which is why it's not visible, but I've got Universe A completely disabled.